this country. Also, prayers to family members, friends, community, and those who have passed away uh, while on active duty. Welcome to the Vault XL. Back-to-back lives, everybody. Thank you for your time. Once again, the Puffy trial will resume tomorrow in New York City. I will be bringing you updates, allegedly. And we'll see how it goes. Please check out my shorts. I've uploaded a few shorts in the YouTube queue. Also, there's a short pertaining to Seth Rogers in the queue. After this live, there will be another commentary pertaining to a Checkers employee in Florida who shot a patron at the drive-through window over mayonnaise. We're going to chop that up after this live stream. Welcome to the Vault XL. Thank you for your time. Have a wonderful week. The movie of the week is Seclusion, now playing free on the Freevee app. Seclusion. It's about a woman who has a serious scenario with a mental patient in her office. She decides to go on vacation to write a book and finds herself in another similar situation of mischief, mayhem. Check out that movie, Seclusion, now playing free on the Freevee app. Thank you for your time. Have a wonderful week. Follow the Queen here on YouTube and also on the News Break app. Back-to-back lives, everybody.
It has been 453 days since now 16-year-old Sebastian Rogers vanished from his home in Hendersonville. His disappearance sparked national headlines, but now his father says the case is losing momentum. With National Missing Children's Day coming up on Sunday, he is raising his voice and demanding urgency. News 2's Caitlin Quisenberry at the Sumner County Sheriff's Office, where Sebastian's father made an emotional plea today.
Sebastian's biological father, Seth Rogers, was deeply frustrated when he spoke with me. He fears the case is going cold.
My son's been missing for 15 months, and they don't care.
Sebastian disappeared in February last year. He was just 15 years old. Initial search efforts involved local police, the TBI, and the FBI. But those physical searches have since shifted to focus on the investigative side. The last press conference on the case was more than a year ago.
I would love to see them actually conducting more searches. I'd like to have some communication on the tips that have come in just with me, so that I know that when a tip comes in, I'm not following up on what job they're supposed to do.
Seth says only one detective is actively assigned to the case, and that he is often left to chase down the same leads, also sent to law enforcement.
We need more than just one set of eyes on this case, but it all falls on my shoulders to ask people to help find my son. My son means something to me. These people should be doing their job.
In his push for progress, Seth says he's reached out to lawmakers and is even drafting federal legislation aimed at reforming how child protection agencies and the Amber Alert system handle missing children's cases.
It's a federal oversight law on places like CPS, DCS, the Amber Alert, getting it redone, and taking it out of people's hands that don't care about the children.
According to the FBI, an estimated 460,000 children are reported missing in the U.S. every year. Seth says every one of those cases deserves attention, including Sebastian's.
A parent demands answers. We demand answers because our heart is missing. He is my world. I need him. I need him back with me.
We reached out to the Sumner County Sheriff's Office for a statement. They assured us this case remains a top priority and said in part, please know that behind the scenes a tremendous amount of work has been done and will continue. Some aspects of the investigation are not visible to the public due to the sensitive nature of the case. Sebastian's family continues to ask for the community's help.
Hello.
If you know anything about Sebastian's whereabouts, you're asked to call the Sumner County Sheriff's Office or the TBI. Those numbers can be found on our website at WKRN.com.
All right, let's go back. Sebastian Rogers. Okay. Well-known story here on YouTube and around Tennessee. Okay. The full interview is on Seth Rogers' YouTube channel if you'd like to check it out. He also mentions the Proudfoots wishing they were more involved. A lot was said here. Let's start with the demographics, stats, which are always important. 460 children. What did they say? 460,000. 460. That's the same match of people who unalive their children by the FBI stats. Stay woke. It's almost tit for tat. The amount of children missing in the United States versus how many children are unalived by their parents. Compare them. You're only talking about a 40% difference. All right? A lot of kids missing. Maybe I need to play that again. So I don't misquote anything. I'm a bit tired, so just bear with me. Are they doing what they need to be doing? Sumner County Sheriff's Department, only one detective working the case. Naturally, it's a small county. They don't have a lot of high profile or high influx of, disappearances, possibly murder, or major crimes. So that's why they only have one detective. The detective. Is the detective seasoned? Because all that's going to matter. If you don't have experience in missing persons, homicide, that's going to be a problem. Because you need to have the experience to know what to look for, what to ask. That's in any type of law enforcement. I don't care if you're FBI, U.S. Marshals. You have to be able to assess the situation from experience. And everyone's eye is not the same. Everyone's ear is not the same. So if you don't have a lot of experience dealing with missing children, you're going to have a problem investigating. I'm just keeping it real. So what do they have so far? And actually, Mr. Seth, we're not in your shoes. So you can feel the way you feel about your child. This is your child. They're not going to tell you everything, sir. I think you know this. They're not going to tell the public, not even a nosy YouTuber. No, they're not. They're going to say it's none of your business. We got this. What do they know at this moment? What do they know? What do they have? Do they have a suspect, number one? Do they have any leads? He talks about tips. Well, they're not going to tell you about the tips because then you go try to figure it out yourself, and then they'll feel like, well, you're meddling in the investigation, Mr. Rogers. Just the way it is. And then we've learned about the tips from previous. They went nowhere because it was foolishness. People calling in saying they saw this, they heard this, and that leads to problems. And that leads to detectives, workers, searchers on wild goose chases. And that's not what you want when you're trying to find your child. Because every tip isn't a good tip. You don't know where it's coming from. You don't know the, what am I trying to say? The motivation behind the tip. And we've seen this a lot with true crime, the internet, busybodies, people wanting to be seen, people wanting to immerse themselves in the case. It's a very sick phenomenon. Everybody wanting to be involved in a missing person's case. Everybody knows how to queen rock. I don't get down with all that crazy nonsense. What I heard, I saw, crystal ball, all of those shit. I tell people, stop that. Too old for that type of foolishness. We're talking about a real person missing. You don't know nothing, keep your mouth closed. Don't call the governor, the butcher, the state senator. Stop. Just stop. It's like I was telling Sue the other day. A lot of people really are sick when it comes to true crime. You get all wrapped up and immersed in something because you want to be a part of something, which tells me you possibly need to sweep around your own front porch. Yeah, I'm going to go in the belly of the beast because somebody needs to hear it still. Stay in your damn lane. You have something vital, then call the 1-800 number. But not your dream, what Pookie Ray Ray said on another YouTube channel, not what you read in a Facebook group. That's not information. And I hate when people do that. Did you hear what such and such said? Did you hear? And such said this. It's like street gossip. Did you hear what such and such said? Such and such said. We're talking about a whole person. Talking about a whole human missing. We're not talking about street shenanigans. We're talking about a whole child. So I personally, you all get down, that's your business. But I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear nothing about what nobody had to say about no missing person, missing kid. So the first thing I'm going to ask you, where'd you hear it from? And as soon as you tell me, well, I don't remember, that's my point exactly. So you're willing to pass something about a whole person missing, but you don't know where you heard it from. See how it jumped out? It gets ignorant. It gets very ignorant talking about true crime. We have no knowledge of what happened to the child. We don't know where he went, allegedly. Everyone has their thought process of where they think or what they think may have happened to the child. But at the moment, we don't know. So you have your own theories about the child. The point is, no updates from law enforcement in a year. It would be nice to hear something. We are 15 months in, as Mr. Rogers has said about his child missing. He would like to have an update, but what Mr. Seth has to understand, these people are not going to share anything because they're watching just like Big Brother. They're watching everything being said on social media, YouTube channels, how everybody's putting out information, how stuff gets misconstrued, the gossip, the he said, she said, the situation between you and the Proudfoots is not well, obviously still, because you have said something about them. Obviously, they cut it out of this interview here, 2 minutes or so. They didn't put that in the interview. But the full interview's on Seth's channel. Feel free to go over and watch the whole thing, where he mentions the Proudfoots basically not being engaged, which is sad. Obviously, you can tell Mr. Seth is angry. He should be angry. This is his child. It's his child. It's not my child. So he is entitled to feel however he likes. Hello, Mrs. Sky. Miss Sky, thank you for joining. But Seth has to be very careful with this tip situation. That's my advice to him. Because all tips aren't a substance. I get it. You want something. But see, there's old sayings, be careful, beware of the messenger. Exactly. You can't just dive into every little tip because a lot of these people are just out here throwing out stuff from stuff they heard, sitting on somebody's front porch and listening to some gossip. Well, they said that they said that they said that they said. That's all I hear. Just like somebody's commented on my channel. I put up a poll just now. Feel free to take it. Do you feel like they are investigating this case thoroughly? Sumner County Sheriff's Department. Let's go into the belly of the beast. One person voted. They said 100% no. Take the poll, everybody. Whoever took the vote basically wants to talk about other people involved, paying off the Sheriff's Department, the Proudfoots, whomever. I get tired of hearing the same gossip. I don't mean to hurt your feelings. I get tired of hearing it because it becomes redundant. Who's involved? Who ain't involved? Who paid somebody out? Who's best friends? Who played golf with Sheriff Craddock? Who? I get sick of hearing it. I just don't want to hear it. I don't care. You don't have a receipt. It's just gossip. Bring a fucking receipt. You think there's a family member, neighbor, Cookie Monster did it? Bring a receipt. They did this. They took him over here. He ran over here. I didn't even really want to get in this, but it needs to be said because you all just get ridiculous with the gossip. You sound so stupid. Just stop. Because really, you understand, you make it worse. This is why they don't want to share anything with anybody. Ain't trying to figure out what's going on. I'm woke. I'm 54. I've been woke. I came out my mama woke. They don't want to talk about nothing, share nothing because of what you all do here on social media. Ding, ding, ding. It's just like what's going on out in Idaho. It's the same nonsense. We ain't getting ready to tell these parents nothing. We got one that stays on social media all the time talking about his daughter, which we get it. His child was brutally unalived. But when you start putting stuff out that law enforcement didn't want out, oh yeah, there's a problem, you see. So now you're crying about, oh, I want to update, I want to update, I want to update. Now they're not going to give you no update because they know. They say, you're a walkie-talkie. You're a liability. You're a risk. So we're not going to tell you nothing because all you're going to do is go run the Dateline, CNN, News Nation. what we said, what you heard, what you saw in the autopsy. And that's stuff they don't want out because they want the suspect to get to trial and put all that stuff out. But see, that's the whole point. We're not in these people's shoes. These are the parents. They're thirsty. They want the truth out. So they're willing to get on the news and say anything, but they're not thinking about down the line, which is now a problem with the item part. All that walkie-talkie may cost evidence not to be allowed in the trial. That's why Kohlberger wants his trial delayed. Ding, ding, ding. We haven't even started summer yet. He's already up. I don't want to go to court. I don't want to go to court. I don't want to go to court. They talking about me. They're telling stories about me. So it's no difference with this case. We ain't telling nobody nothing. I don't care if you're the mama. We know the other two don't care. That's obvious. Go ahead and say it. We know they don't care. And I think it's that you have a whole child missing and you show no type of regard or concern for your missing child. Okay? Hello, Perspective. Hello, everybody. But that's expected when you know it's something not right. And let me tell you all something else. In case you had not heard, somebody is suing the Tennessee Human Child Family Services Human Department. You know what I'm saying? DHS is what I call it. Somebody is suing DHS Tennessee for placing children in harm's way in foster care, putting them in places that is not safe, meaning putting them in facilities with violent offenders. Boy, girl, mix in, all the same. That's the current news coming out of Tennessee. And also, as I've told you before, Tennessee does not have anywhere to house children who go into the foster care system. Just throwing that out there. Okay, just throwing that out there. They have nowhere to house the children here in this state. So they're sending them to other states. As I said before in my commentary, I don't know how that's going to work out with parents here who are trying to regain custody of their children. I don't even know how that would work out. How are you going to go see your kid if your kid's 2 or 3 states over? You don't have the money to travel, so on and so forth. So that's the latest coming out of East Tennessee, Tennessee, West Tennessee, Middle Tennessee, North Tennessee, South Tennessee. Somebody is suing the state for improprieties, children being placed in foster care. Now, we have this case here of a teenager missing, Caucasian boy. Where is he? Is he alive? Is he deceased? Are any relatives, associates involved in the disappearance of Sebastian Rogers? Who holds the truth to where this child can be located? Is this sheriff's department doing its job and doing its due diligence to find this child, following on viable leads, investigating all parents, family members, associates, friends, data? I would hope so. And then the big one. Should the sheriff's department hand this over to TBI and let them investigate the disappearance of Sebastian? Some of you will probably agree and say, yes, they should. Maybe more will get done. We know that the government has more tools than the average police department and sheriff's department. That's a known. That's just a given. They have more tools. They have more resources. They're the big boys and girls. So should Mr. Craddock hand this over? So, Mr. Craddock, what are you doing? Because Seth seems very irate with your department. He basically, you're just sitting up in there doing nothing. I said, damn, Seth. No, you didn't say that. Yes, he did. You're just sitting up in there. You ain't doing a damn thing. Allegedly. I don't need nobody suing me. I ain't got no damn money. Mr. Craddock, are you doing nothing in there? The detective, are you doing nothing? What leads do you have? Do you have a suspect? Do you believe this is foul play? Do you believe this is a child who wandered off and succumbed to the elements? What do you have? What is your theory? I'd like to hear somebody's theory. I'm kind of like Seth, 15 months in. Give us a theory. Enlighten us. What do you think? I think he's alive. I think he's living with somebody. I think he's over here. I think he's over there. I think he walked away. I think he met some friends. Tell us something. I think the parents did. Tell us something. You ain't even got to mention nobody's name or nothing. You can just say, I don't think he's alive. We hearing that with the case with the children in Canada. People are weighing in. People involved in the case. Nah, they ain't alive. They've gone too long out there wandering around. You have to ask that question about this child. Would he have the sustenance to sustain, the mindset to sustain himself outside? No shoes, no food, no water, no nothing, no phone. Of course not. Of course not. Does the father have a right to be angry? He's not getting updates. Does he have a direct line to talk to somebody from the Sumner County Sheriff's Department? See, all that's relevant. Who is Seth speaking to directly? Is he speaking to the detective? How many times does he call the detective? How many times has the detective responded? What is his attitude when he responds? Is he responding by text, phone call, or he calls Mr. Seth directly? Also, Mr. Craddock, do you direct your conversations to the detective to then talk to Seth? Do you talk to Seth directly or you use a mouthpiece? Yeah, I'm curious. Why not? Why not? Gotta ask all the questions. But as you can see here, Seth got that arm extended, shades off. He's angry. But he should be. That's his child. He wants his child home. He wants to be with his child. And many of you have your theories that the child is not alive. You do not believe the child is alive. And many of you believe it is foul play. I don't know if Seth has come to this realization yet that this is foul play, perhaps foul play, and that his child is not alive, because that's a lot to digest as a father, a mother, to hear he said, she said, and assumptions about your child. But does he ever think about the fact that possibly his child is not alive? We're going to go ahead and go on in the belly of the damn beast and be done with it. Mr. Seth, do you believe your child is alive? Or do you believe your child is not alive? And can you come to the grips that perhaps your child is not alive? And if your child is not alive, sir, then how did he get to be unalive? Checkmate. Can you come to the realization that somebody, a creepy crawly, took your child's life for stupefied reasons? Because there's no logical reason to unalive a child. Not now, not never. Not now, not never. Is the child alive? And as I always tell the people, when you weigh the circumstances, you have to use common sense. If he's alive, then where would he be? Why would he be somewhere else? Who would hold him, keep him? For what reason? And we know that when people take children in and hide them, it's usually for nefarious reasons. And usually the children don't fare very well physically, mentally, sexually. You get my drift. So who would have them and why? Then that means you'd have to be paying the person to keep them. How long would that last? Stay woke. Then there's the other. He is not alive. He left here for ignorant reasons, selfishness. Somebody didn't want to be bothered, such as Mr. and Mrs. Proudfoot. Did you two harm this boy child, and you have yet to tell the world that you harmed him? Tell the father the truth. You got rid of him. Because that'd be a terrible thing to admit now, wouldn't it? And who's going to tell that? And that's why people think you all are guilty, because you don't seem very interested in the child's disappearance. You don't seem to care. You're not involved. You're not talking. You're not on radio shows. You don't do nothing. Just hee-haw ass around once a year. You do some flip-flam ass interview with the local news because that was expected. That was expected of you. But you didn't, the days before that, it's nothing. And I'm going to be truthful with you all. I'm going to check out of here because I have another live to bring to you. I'm going to be truthful with you, Katie. I was kind of stunned that you even had photographs of Sebastian. Yeah, I said that. She pulled out the photographs in the frames. I said, well, I'll be damned. This heifer got photographs of the baby. I thought you done thrown everything in the damn dumpster. But I know you got to keep something because eventually, you know, every few months, somebody's going to want to talk to you and you'd have to lay out these little photographs and pictures like it means something for show and pretend that you care and that you've got memorabilia of the child. Queen no game, okay? Queen no game. Hello, babe. I feel sorry for Seth, because this is a place that no woman or man should ever want to be, and that is trying to find their child. And as he said in his commentary, all children matter that are missing. And thank you for saying that. All missing children matter, exactly. Some don't get the TV play as other children. Some fall by the wayside with local news, and it's a tragedy. And we see a lot of this when it comes to missing brown children, Native children, Hispanic children, and African American children. They don't get the full play on the news as Caucasian children. So thank you for saying that, Mr. Rogers. But to me, a child is a child. I don't care his color or creed. A child is a child, and they don't got no business missing. And as I keep trying to say this to many people, and I tell people, please when I say this, but when everybody says, I want the child to come home, what do I always say? Come home to whom? Because there's a reason why the child is missing from the home in the first place. And 9 times out of 10, it's nefarious reasons that the child is gone and possibly not alive. And the stats way higher that the child is not alive. So when we say, I want the child to come home, what you asked for. Because you don't want a child going back if they were alive, if the house is unkempt, let's say. And I don't mean dirty laundry. I mean foul parents, foul guardians. I want the child home. I want the child found. I want him or her to go home. Go back home. Go back home. Are you sure? So let's ask this question. You want Sebastian to be found alive and go back home to the Proudfoots. That's what you're saying? Because Seth says he wants a child with him. And of course, many of you have questioned why the child wasn't with him. Back and forth about some schooling and some program to open up. And then poof, voila, he goes missing. Allegations of child abuse, open CPS cases, blah, 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 blah. You're entitled to your opinion. The point is he's gone. And what's sad to me is it seems like with all these cases of missing children, there's always allegations of physical abuse, mental abuse, sexual abuse, and open CPS cases and closed CPS cases. Don't you find that amazing? Just go pick out a story in the Google search and just scroll down and wait to see it. Somebody called DHS 5 times. Somebody called 10 times. Oh, they had an open case. Oh, they had a closed case. Oh, they got an ongoing case. And poof, voila, there's a kid gone. Make it make sense. Why is that? That most cases of children missing, there's an open CPS case, closed CPS case, ongoing investigation of a CPS case, previous CPS cases. Stay woke. Because there was smoke in the city. And the state somehow could not prove that somebody had been a dirty bird to a child. You either turn the other cheek or you just couldn't find anything tangible to remove the child out of care from the parents. Because it is getting a little bit old looking at these horrific stories of children being removed from the state in horrible conditions, and somebody knew, somebody called, yet you still allow the children to live with these parents or whomever these people are taking care of them. Or the children go missing and they have cases, open, closed, ongoing, so on and so forth, which will lead people to think, oh, the parents must have done something. And it's always that rare chance that it is an outsider that took the child, kidnapped the child. But I think it's very rare. And FBI stats will tell you it is very rare that children are kidnapped by outsiders. It's usually custodial parents who kidnap their children and unalive their children. Hello, Miss Lowry. So in this case, it's no different. Many of you believe the child is not here with us. in physical form. That his mama and step-papa did something to him. I think a lot of you believe that. But the question is, does Seth Rogers believe that? And how long is he going to go around and around with the Proudfoots dancing around this subject? So I'm going to ask you, Seth Rogers, have you ever asked Mr. and Mrs. Proudfoot if they harmed your son? If so, what was the answer? And if they told you they did not harm your child, did you or do you still believe them? If you've never had this conversation with them, how do you feel about present day, after the fact? Do you believe they have something to do with the disappearance of your son? I've never said this to Seth Rogers, all because I want to have respect for the only person who is fighting for the child, but I'm going to say it now, 15 months in. You can free yourself if you just say what the hell you damn mean to everyone. I think you have been biding time to try to keep peace in the valley. But you see, there is no peace because that's the reason why your son's not here. I think you need to square up and tell these folks how you feel. Mr. and Mrs. Proudfoot, if you have not. I think you've done something to my child, and I want to know. And if that's how you feel, let me make that clear. If that is how you feel, that these two did something to your child nefarious, and that your child is not of breathing state, I think you have a right to say it and free yourself. Because I think that you are never going to be able to grapple with the situation of your son until you tell the truth out loud. Out loud. Say it out loud, Seth. Say it out loud and free that burden. Because let me tell you something about speaking truth. It may not sound good, may not look good, hell, may not even. But if that is how you feel, then you should say it. Because I think a lot of people are waiting on you to say it. That you believe the Proudfoots unalived your child. And they are lying and playing duck, duck, goose with law enforcement about your child and to the media. And I think you would feel much better if you just said it and be done with it. Because truth is king. Now, you don't feel this way. That's fine too. But I always feel like at some point in life, we must stand toe to toe with the beast and look him or her or they in the eye and say it. I don't like this, and this is how I feel. This is my truth. Whether it's true or not, can be verified or not, but this is my truth. I think you did something to my damn child, and I want to know, where is my boy? That's my commentary, everybody. Prayers for Mr. Rogers' immediate family, those who are genuinely concerned for the whereabouts of Sebastian Rogers. If you have viable, tangible information to the disappearance of this teenager, call the local sheriff's department. If you don't want to deal with Sumner County, then please notify the TBI. There will be somebody there to take your information and relay it to the designated person. Is this child alive? Is he hidden somewhere? Did he wander off and somebody picked him up and just took him in and they're taking care of him? Or is this the worst case scenario? And if it's the worst case scenario, then who would have a motive to unalive a teenager? What is the information that the sheriff's department and TBI have? Are those two linked together in the same theory? Bingo card. I never asked that. How does TBI feel about the case? Sumner County, and are they one accord? Because if not, this is a very bad situation, because we need them both on the same damn page. Once again, if you have valuable information, contact TBI or Sumner County Sheriff's Department. Please do not call either number with hocus pocus information and gossip. If you know something tangible, then you call in. Please do not dial their number. Thank you for your time. God bless you. I'll be right back with live number 2. We're going to go to Florida, and we're going to talk about this young black guy who popped off at the Checkers drive-thru. Got mad at the patron who's arguing about mayonnaise. Shut your mouth. Let's go down into the belly of the beast again, everybody. See you here in a few minutes. Like, share, subscribe. Follow the queen here on the Vault XL and also on Newsbreak. Have a wonderful week. Once again, prayers to Seth Rogers and justice for his son, Sebastian Rogers. Thank you for your time.